Hello, doctor.
How are you doing?
When you start like this, it sounds like I'm in therapy. I just want you to know that.
That's not how I start a session.
How you start a session?
Hey, kiddo, how's it going today?
Well, that's inappropriate. I'm a grown-ass man.
Okay, so if you're a grown-ass man, hey, how's it going?
No arm flailing like you just did? Hey, dude.
Actually, I might have arm flailing.
Yeah, I know.
I'm pretty energetic. I don't know why.
I witnessed you in public.
Why?
What?
What do I do?
Well, out of the two of us, who has done monkey calls at inappropriate times in public?
How is it inappropriate?
It's a monkey call in the middle of the day with other people around. And it's not only happened once.
Okay. Actually, I went grocery shopping with Maya the other day and she's like, we got to get out of here. You are so weird. I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, the salad. I'm like, what are you talking about? Apparently, I wish that people could see me on a video, but I guess I was like a little spy, like, you know, how superheroes will land with both of their arms out and their one leg out. And
yeah, the superhero landing.
Yeah, the superhero landing. I guess I was like that, looking at salads, both arms up, looking at it.
That is weird.
I didn't realize I was doing that, but I was like, because I only had like 2 seconds and there was a guy there trying to shelve and I'm like, didn't want to get in his way. And apparently,
so your superhero landed on him?
Apparently.
Did he disappear? Like, because I would have side-eyed you to be like, all right, I'll just go stop somewhere else.
I was behind him doing my super, but I wasn't.
Nope, not making it better. Not making it better at all. So you snuck up on this poor stock clerk, did a weird superhero landing for salad?
I didn't know. Like, yes.
I'm on Maya's team this time. If you had done that when we were in a grocery store together, I would have just kept walking.
I didn't realize I had.
Weird.
Apparently.
All right.
Anywho, sibling rivalry.
Yeah.
I got my ideas, but I want to hear your ideas on how you think sibling rivalry should be dealt with.
Let them beat each other until there's a superior sibling.
Okay.
And I only say that as the superior sibling because I grew bigger than my older brother.
Size doesn't mean anything.
Absolutely it does. It means everything with boys. Do you realize for the first 12 years of my life, I could have been murdered at any point in time because I had an older sibling? He could have snuffed me out. Fun fact, there's an actual story. There's a story of Chris used to sleepwalk. Yeah. So my older brother used to sleepwalk and like crazy sleepwalking. Like when we first moved to Calgary, Mom tells the story way better, but about him sneaking out of our house at night and walking out of the cul-de-sac and down the street to our school. And every time a car would drive by, he'd dive behind bushes to hide, went to the park, and then did whatever he was doing at the park and came back. Like that level of sleepwalking. Prior to that.
Didn't you sleepwalk and like pee down the stairs?
All right, we can get to that in a second. Okay. I'm going to finish this story first.
Okay.
That's more like party trick because I could have done that just as easily when I was in my heyday of partying, and I could have just as easily had too much to drink and peed down the stairs. But
I've got a story on that line. But anyway,
thank you for bringing that up so everybody knows about it. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Just edit that out. So Chris, back to the original, I could have been murdered at any time. Mom came into our bed. Our bedrooms used to be across the hall from each other in the old place in PEI in Charlottetown. And apparently she came in one morning and I had no pillows and I was crying. And she's like, what happened? And my brother, my shining example of what I was going to grow up to be, sleptwalked into my room in the middle of the night, pulled the pillows out, hit me with them, and then took them over to his room, put them on the floor, and went back to bed, leaving me with none. That is what being a younger brother is like.
I put my brother into a dryer and turned it on.
You sure did. That's why he's so fluffy.
He only got around one or two things before he started screaming, and I opened the door and realized that was a bad idea.
But up until then, you were all in. It was a good one.
I thought it was going to be, awesome.
Like a fun toy.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like I did stuff not to be mean. It was just like, oh my God, this is going to be the best idea ever. It was not a good idea.
Chris and I were super close when I was younger. Like Chris used to read to me all the time. Like Mom has pictures of him tucking me in at night and reading to me and everything. But at some point it changed. And I don't really know why or how it changed, but we became much less close. And I would say it wasn't until right before Chris moved to Vancouver that I think our relationship shifted back towards the positive. Like there were like it was more annoyance. Like I was always an annoyance to Chris
because you were close when we started dating. When did he move to Vancouver?
Right around the time you and I started dating.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I was like kissing girls and being awesome and stuff. So of course he's like, yeah, I want to hang out with that dude. So no, all right.
You had a cool car.
I did have a cool car.
And hair.
All right. Again, you're really going after it here tonight. But Chris and I, yeah, like when I was probably let's say from like age 10 onwards. I really don't know if that's the number. From 10 onwards, I was a pest. I was a bother, right? And I was. I would go out of my way to make his life miserable sometimes for no other reason than I was bored, right? And the problem with boys, though, is it always escalates to physicality. Like I was on the receiving end of some world-class butt whoopings, like pinned down and just getting fed fists, right? With no chance of getting out of it, right? And I'll tell you, that builds up a massive resentment. Like
he's so sweet. He wouldn't hurt a fly.
It's not that he would hurt a fly. He would beat the crap out of his younger brother, though, because his younger brother was a pest, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't until, like, I remember we got into it. So Dad used to drive cab when the oil industry bowed out in the late 80s or whatever. Dad wasn't working as much, so he had to drive a cab. And so he would work night shifts and he would try and be sleeping in the day, right? So he wasn't around much. He wasn't around much to begin with because he was either on lease or he was driving the cab. But I'll never forget, we were supposed to clean the house and Dad is asleep. Like he's out cold, had worked all shift. He was done. I had music on while I was cleaning and I don't know what led up to it. And I'm sure I'm getting some of the details wrong, but it culminated with Chris turning off the music. And I took this as probably the most grievous assault he could have ever, like, how dare you turn off whatever trash I was listening to? I'm sure it was awful as I'm cleaning the house. And so we got into it and I started yelling at him and I'm going to get you. And Chris, being a full 4 years older than me, basically said, yeah, do your worst. Like there's nothing you can do to hurt me. So I ran upstairs and I grabbed the closest thing I could, which was one of my golf clubs. And I ran downstairs and man, he committed. Like, I mean, in looking back on it, he committed. Like he saw that I had a weapon and he just planted and said, yeah. And he even did like almost the Scarface arms out, like, come on. And I cranked him right in the ribs with this thing. And he snapped his arm down, pulled the thing out of my hand and then held it in front of me and snapped it in two and proceeded to beat me with both pieces. Like I went from I'm going to whoop him to again having my you-know-what handed to me. And it wasn't until Dad came down and pulled us apart and whatever. But that was constant. Like there was constant. I mean, we've joked about it before. I won't look at, to this day, if someone points out the car window of something outside my side of the car, I won't look. I'm better now because you don't do this to me. But it was because Chris would do that to me on the car ride across Canada, go home to PEI. Oh, look at that. And I would turn and he would smack my head off the window. We would get into fights because I would take up too much of the back seat. I went over the middle line and he would just beat on me. And again, I'm not saying this was just Chris being a jerk. I deserved a fair amount of those, right? I instigated a ton of them, I'm sure. But that was my relationship with my brother for 10 years at least.
So is this a really long-winded way to say you have no idea how to manage sibling rivalry?
No, I'm getting, yeah, maybe. No, I'm getting to the point of like, okay, maybe I don't need to paint such a picture. And I'll be very clear. I went out for drinks with my brother last night. It was great to catch up and see him. Like we're very close now.
And I get it. Like we had weapons. Mine was the shaft from the vacuum cleaner. I would hit him. And there's 7 years difference. I'm 7 years older than my brother.
But what's funny in retrospect is all that time when Chris was my tormentor, like he was bigger than me and could do whatever he wanted. There were instances where things happened outside where someone did something to me at school or whatever. And I didn't know about it till later, but Chris went and would take care of it. Chris would quietly go and find the kid. And, you know, my brother's not an intimidating dude. He's he is what he is. But I never knew until years later that he actually did that a couple times, right? So it's kind of like that old joke of nobody, he's my little brother, nobody beats him up but me. But I guess when he and I started to kind of get along, and I'll be honest, I don't know how to deal with sibling rivalry. Like, the girls demonstrated a ton. There's a constant demonstration of that. And what I try and do now, and the reason why I guess I'm telling these stories is, in retrospect, all of these stories would have happened regardless. Chris and I would have scrapped no matter what. It doesn't mean that I hate him. And so in those moments, and especially because Willow's the more emotional of the two, my approach is, it's going to happen. She instigates stuff just as much as she has it set upon her. And I just try and talk to her about it from the perspective of, I was exactly what you were, right? I was the younger kid. I was the one that always thought, my older brother didn't like me, didn't want me hanging around, and just try and get her to recognize that, don't start fights you don't need to, right? Which I know is futile, which I know is not going to change anything, but just to try and express to her that, her big sister is going to be her big sister for the rest of her life. It's going to be the single longest relationship they have, right? And whether they're super close or not, they're still family, and there's still always, and what I've learned through the years is there's still an underlying bond. Like, if Chris called me tomorrow and said I need help with something, of course I'll do whatever I can to help Chris. And it's not that I see him all the time. It's not like we're hanging out all the time. He's in a completely different city. He lives a completely different life. And to a certain degree, I don't know that we know each other that well anymore, because he's been gone for so long. Like, he's been gone. He's lived in a different city longer than he lived with us, right? And that's his life. But I know enough about him that thankfully we've grown up and matured, and we like to hang out together. But it all changed when we started talking to each other. I can't force that on the kids. I can't force them to sit down and talk. I as a parent can only try and empathize when I see what I've lived through, and then just remind them, right? This is an important relationship. It may not feel like it now, but eventually it will come around, and there will be some form of, like, you and your brother are a perfect example, right? We see your brother all the time. Relative, right? Whenever, but you guys are closer now than you've ever been, I would say.
We weren't ever really close until, he was in his 30s, probably late 20s.
Yeah, I'd say late 20s by that time. Yeah. But because of that, we get to see the boys, they get to see the girls, like Maya's going to go babysit. Like, we're very fortunate to have that. But you guys grew up the same as Chris and I. Very physical, very much a lot of fights, right? I'm
calling him all the time. Every time he sees my number, what are you apologizing for now?
That's true.
I call him crying. I'm so sorry. I was so mean to you.
But yeah, I don't think there's any magic formula, because they're ultimately going to grow up to be the girls that they're going to grow up to be, right?
Oh, there's a magic formula. Just you wait.
Oh, well.
But finish your thought.
But for us troglodytes that don't specialize in this, there's no magic formula.
What's a troglodyte?
Oh, you didn't get the word right.
What is that?
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Did you just make stuff up?
Yeah, I'm the one that makes up words.
Dyscalculia is a thing.
Nope. It honestly sounds like one of those shady discotheques in a Jamaican resort. We're going to go to the Dyscalculia and they're going to have bubbles going. That's literally what it sounds like. Anyways, teach this ignorant caveman how to make fire. How?
Don't you remember things that we've done? Okay, so a couple of things. Our brain creates associations, and it's built on reward. And so I've talked a lot about pairing the brain. And oftentimes I talk about it in different contexts, but it's the exact same thing with siblings. Pairing siblings with something fun. Our brain is always seeking either, what's going to eat us, cause us danger, or what's going to reward. From an evolutionary perspective, eating sugary, fatty foods is hugely rewarding, because that means we're going to survive when we can eat those and find those kinds of foods, for example. That's how our brain is built, but it doesn't tell the difference, but what's rewarding it. So screens is a great example, so we want to pair your friend or I was seeing a friend just because I remember once one of our neighbors saying, oh, these kids are all using each other because they're all at a play date at my house. And now all of a sudden they're going over there because there's a trampoline. I'm like, well, yeah, because that's the reward, right? That's what their brain's seeking. Developmentally, that's appropriate. How can we pair siblings with fun? And so maybe it's, you get to play iPad with your sibling. That's the only time you get access to the iPad when you're with your sibling. So at first it's about the iPad, but we're pairing that association that playing with my sibling is fun. And we got to be careful because I think, we do this all the time with as parents. We see our kids playing and they're getting along and they're like, oh, they're getting along great. We're just going to leave them a little bit more. That's not cool because inevitably something is going to happen. One kiddo is going to get too excited, hurt the other one, or one is just going to fight, like whatever. And then it ends in a mess. So when they're playing good, that's when we want to pull them away, leave on a positive note. So as much as possible, we're going to interrupt that. Hey, Bobby, come here, come help me with something, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, I love how you guys are playing so well together. We want them leaving on a good note, wanting to come back to each other on the one hand, and then how can we pair them? The other thing that we had done is the sibling love jar.
I do remember the sibling love jar. Yes, I do remember that. Though, full disclosure, I don't know that it worked. It worked in short sprints.
When we were consistent. Consistency is the key. When we were consistent.
So it's the parents' fault again.
Yeah. When it comes to that kind of stuff, but remember they would even say like, oh, Maya did this. Like it was great because they were reinforcing each other. Maya did this for me. And, Willow did that for me. And you could even hear them whispering like, hey, let's get along so we can get a sister love rock or whatever. And I know some parents would be like, well, that's just scheming. I don't care. They're getting along. And now they're cooperating together. Even if they're cooperating together to get a sister love rock, that's okay. Yeah. So I think it worked lovely as long as we were consistent with it. And we had a big jar, like think of a water bottle, like an Nalgene water bottle. It was graduated, meaning there's little check marks all the way up. Because if they had to wait to fill up the whole jar, it's too long. It's too long of a wait. It's not worth it. But when they got the first little take, we could go watch. I mean, we were always really strict with screens, but we could go watch a half-hour show. And up here you could, we would do this activity. And when we got to the top, we would do something fun, like go to a trampoline park, something that we don't normally do as a family.
It was Saturday morning cartoons. Not to the top. That was the most consistent one they got. Yeah. Was they would work towards Saturday morning cartoons.
They loved because we never.
Then I wonder if they dropped off because really all they ever wanted was Saturday morning cartoons.
No, we did other things as well, but even just they loved sharing stories of what they helped each other with and things like that. So there's those things. But the big thing is we really do have to let them figure things out as well. Like if they do get into an argument. So those are the proactive things, right? Pairing them, just like you were saying, like talking.
That came so much later though. Was like, we were almost adults.
Well, and I'm going to talk about to like my conversations with Willow. But so there's the proactive strategies of, setting up like a sister love jar or sibling love jar, being able to pair them. I do have talks, and it's funny enough with my younger one about being the bigger girl. And sometimes she's like, it's not fair because Maya is the bigger one, but she's the one who complains. Maya doesn't really complain about Willow too much. In the moment she will, but not every day.
Like, she used to, like when there was less of a physical difference, she would complain all the time that Willow's picking on her and Willow's hitting her and Willow's being mean. Now Maya's more subtle in how she gets away with it.
Oh, just the other day I saw her whack Willow just sitting there, and I'm like, dude, I'm right here. And she's like, totally didn't notice. Yeah. But Willow's actually been good about, like, how can we get your sister off your back, or how can we, work on this to get along and things like that. So we can have those conversations proactively, but reactively. So we're always thinking proactive. We want to get on offense as much as possible instead of reacting all the time. So think about when are the worst times. Switching hours, usually dinner time, right? Yeah. So it's, again, being proactive as much as we can. Reactively, though, they do need to figure it out. And again, it's figuring out, like for me, any physical aggression is absolutely off limits. That's not cool. There will be consequences, right? if that happens. Although we've never really had to ever deal with that too much. I think we've been able to.
There's been a couple, but they've been infrequent at best. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't like they scrap every day.
Yeah. So, I mean, as a family, creating what those rules are and letting them know when, parents are going to step in. But the problem is when parents step in, there's usually the victim, which is going to be the younger kid, right? The weaker kid, the one who's going to cry. And it's not always the younger kid. Sometimes it's the older one too, but there's always a victim, and they're always going to be the victim. They're always going to wait for mom and dad or somebody to swoop in and help them. They're never going to learn to be assertive or to stand up for themselves. Whoever's the perpetrator, the aggressor, they're never going to learn how to regulate their emotions and to regulate their frustration and how to solve conflict and all of those things either. So no skills are being learned when adults are swooping in to save their kids all the time. So they really do have to figure that out. And most of the time, things escalate between siblings when we're home and we start to, step in, because then they'll scream a little bit louder, and then they'll do this a little bit louder, and then it's going to get more aggressive. They're waiting for you to step in. But if you weren't home, it wouldn't escalate to the same degree.
Yeah.
They might just like swear at each other or push each other and then storm off, right? But the escalation comes when parents, because they're waiting for parents, they know at some point parents are going to step in.
Yeah.
And so it's about not like, it's maybe I'm just going to step outside. I'm just going to go to the garage, right? Like literally leave so you're out of earshot. Sometimes I've seen kids where they'll pick up their fight to go out onto the front porch just to get that engagement. Yeah. So it's about not engaging, knowing, what for us, if there's the physical aggression, depending on what it is, right? As well too. But I think that's kind of my...
If there was a physical, so say your kids were like Chris and I, right? We would beat at each other when it got bad. Do you see any merit in involving them in some sort of combat-based sports they learn?
No.
Okay.
So they learn what? Okay, finish it.
No, I mean,
finish it.
Do you think that there's any merit in putting them into combat-based sports that they learn any parameters on how to behave? No? All right, moving on.
Well, maybe. No, maybe. Like, I don't know.
No, because and here's the only reason I ask is Chris and I, when I was a younger teenager, went into Taekwondo together. Mm-hmm. Add that to the list of surprises, everybody. I am basically a ninja. Basically. Okay, you're laughing a bit too much at that. Like, all right, we can dial it down a little bit. Maybe ninja's a bit of a stretch. But just get out of your system. You good? You good?
What's the antonym for ninja?
I don't know what the antonym for ninja is. You literally just spat while you laughed. You drooled on yourself.
You're the antonym of ninja.
Yeah, this is ninja you. No, but when we did it together, there's two things about it. There was a bonding experience because he and I were old enough that, like, you're still laughing.
I know, my side's hurting now. So
we did it together, enjoyed it. It was something only he and I did together. And I as I say this, I do remember that we did use what we learned there on each other at a couple points in the future. Mm-hmm. But
like Willow would full on karate chop Maya.
Chris and I sidekicked each other pretty good too. Our last big fight, there was a lot of lessons being translated into action. Yeah. But leading up to that, the aggression wasn't as bad. Like we really did. There was a dip in us actually fighting each other up until that one last really bad fight. But I mean, you've already said no, and you've laughed at the prospect of me being a ninja. So I guess we can move on from this question.
Well, I was just imagining you in like black tights.
What do you think ninjas wear?
Like black bodysuits.
No.
With like a thing around their head.
Have you ever watched a ninja movie?
Ninja Turtles.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Like I'm literally thinking divorce is the only option at this point. Like
all have
Ninja Turtles is your idea of
they
ninjas.
All have the thing around their head.
A headband.
Yeah. Is that a headband? Like bandana?
Can we back up for a second and just readdress? Nope.
Dark Knight. They're all in black suits, black ninja suits.
Ra's al Ghul's guys?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. But you started with imaginary mutated turtles as your idea of a ninja.
You said ninja movie. Ninja Turtles came to mind. And then Dark Knight. But Dark Knight is definitely up there with the black ninja suit.
We can carry on now. I think we've strayed from the topic.
What were you talking about?
Who knows? Like at this point, I'm literally gobsmacked.
Oh, I had something I wanted to say. What were you saying right before whatever I just said?
I was saying I think I would need to get a divorce.
No, before the ninja stuff.
I was talking about how Chris and I, the aggression level went down for a while, right? But then we did use some of what we learned on each other.
Yes.
That was kind of it. You laughed a really like a hurtful amount of time about me being a ninja.
Yeah. So it's tricky. I mean, this was going to be another question, but I still wrestle with the girls. And I think that parents have a really low threshold. Like I remember working with a family and the mom was so upset trying to get me to tell the dad to stop tickling and wrestling their daughter because it was totally inappropriate. But I'm like, no, that's how kids learn self-regulation and emotion regulation. So they have to kind of, be able to do those types of things. And wrestling is fantastic.
There's part of the story that you shouldn't share. You know that, right? You don't say it. Just
from the cabin.
No, just continue.
Oh, now I'm curious. What shouldn't I share?
One of our children would be very embarrassed if you tied a wrestling.
Oh, no.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I won't. Anyway, I love wrestling and it's very good for their self-regulation and emotion regulation and things like that. But yeah, I think it's tricky because they do learn self-discipline and control and things like that. I've been trained to kill, but if you're going to talk about laugh at me being a ninja, you can't just straight up be like, I would train to kill. I have been. I could kill you right now with my bare hands if I wanted to, but
there's no way you walk out of this closet if you come at me like that. Like
I'm ninja. You don't even know. You wouldn't even know.
Oh my God. All I'd have to do is say something about the girls, distract you because you'll be crying, and bow, you're done.
Yeah, but I could still kill with my bare hands. But here's the thing. When I was 5, I wouldn't know how to control that. Now I can control it. Right?
I don't like the fact that you just said that you could kill me with your bare hands.
I can.
You're like 1/5 my size.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter how big I am.
We're taking this outside after we record this. No, actually, that would look really bad with the two of us on the front line going.
I've had training.
All right.
And I've been trained in biological warfare.
So for context, for the people that think my wife is losing her grip on reality right now.
I'm not losing my grip.
No, I'm
reality.
saying you're not. I'm trying to provide context. She literally was in the army.
So now you can explain the captain.
I can explain the captain part. So she literally was in the army for a couple of years when she was younger and trained and literally did everything you need to do. That's where the comment about captain, doctor, professor comes from. Is she is a retired captain in the Canadian Armed Forces. Apparently, she is a living dangerous weapon that should be registered because
although I almost blew myself up with a grenade once.
See, that's why when you say you can kill someone with your bare hands, I know the other stories.
Well, because it was the first time throwing a grenade and I was scared and they were like, you got to clear the wall. You got to clear the wall. You got to clear the wall. And I was so scared I wasn't going to clear the wall that I barely cleared the wall. And then I had this big guy like your size grab me and jump on top of me. So I didn't get
that story took a turn.
So I didn't get exploded.
Oh, all right.
That was not good English, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So he saved my life. He put himself at risk.
Is that why you like the fact that you're married to a really big guy now?
No.
Oh.
I liked you.
You never met me when you were in the army.
Yeah, I did.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did. I met you when I was 17, dude. I was in the army when I was 17.
Man, you're old now.
I know, I'm so old.
All right, continue on with your threatening to kill me.
Anyways, your question was around learning those things. Like now as an adult, I can control that. But if I had those ninja skills If we're going to use the
It's
ninja.
it's a thing you don't need to do.
Okay. But if I had those skills when I was younger, I probably really would have hurt somebody.
Even though those skills, like taking, I'm just using, and I don't know if it's true or not, but taking a martial art, karate, taekwondo, whatever, it's ingrained in the kids as part of the lessons not to be used outside of the class, right? It's not to be used outside of the class. It's for whatever purpose.
Did you ever get so angry, like you just blinded with rage?
Yeah.
Because I
like 2 seconds ago when you laughed at me when I said I was a ninja.
Because I used to as a kid with my brother, and I'm gonna share a very deep, dark secret here, but I was really scared about having kids.
I remember talking to you about this. Yeah,
I was so scared about having kids. I didn't know if I would hit them and lose control hitting them. I
remember talking about that.
Terrified of that, because I would go into blind rages with my brother, out of control, just feeling like I just can't hit him enough. And I was terrified. I've never lifted a finger once to the girls. I've never hit them. I've never even had the urge to hit them. Thank goodness. But I look at the difference in the self-regulation, emotion regulation, all of those kinds of things, right? The emotion management piece. And so I don't know, like if I never took any martial arts, I don't know if I would have, but maybe if I had the lessons, maybe I would have learned to keep back, but I would just be fearful that I would.
Yeah, no, and I get that, right? Because you and I talked about that a long time ago, right? Like you were worried about that, and you're right. If anything, the biggest thing the kids need to fear with you is an overabundance of hugs and kisses.
Yeah.
And you do get weird when you see a cute baby or a cute dog. What is it? Emotional
cuteness aggressive disorder.
Yeah, you full on have that. Full on. But so what do you think the difference is? Is it because it's your kids and you love them unconditionally and there's no way you could ever hurt them?
No, my executive functioning is more developed. So that prefrontal cortex part of my brain. But who knows? Like, I like the idea of the self-discipline and things like that. And,
So, and I guess maybe it's two separate things. Maybe the martial arts and stuff is more discipline of self and exercise and that sort of stuff, right? As opposed to modifying your aggressive tendencies. But I think for me, like, I'm not an overly aggressive guy, right? If anything, the biggest comment that people make to me throughout most of my life is I'm too relaxed and I don't show emotion and that sort of stuff, right? Part of that is by design. Like being a big guy, I had to learn very early that me raising my voice slightly had the impression of a normal person yelling, right? And so I've had to regulate my interactions with people my whole life. But when I was younger, I used to get crazy angry. Like, I remember, there's the traditional punch a hole in the drywall move, which showed everybody how tough you were. But I get super, and I mean, maybe it was just the developmental stage I was at, right? But I did grow out of it. Chris and I do talk now, and it wasn't any planned, we got a bond. Like, it just naturally progressed that I wasn't a douche because I wasn't this annoying kid that was always trying to get at. I mean, and like for context, when I got older, my voice is almost identical to my brother's. It's very similar. When I stopped being confused for my mother on the phone and my voice actually changed, so I sounded like Chris, if I was mad at him, I would literally make plans with his friends and not tell him because they thought it was him, right? His friend would call the house. Nobody had cell phones back then. His friend would call the house. We saw him for the movie. Yeah, great. No problem. Meet you there. Yeah, no problem. Chris had no clue. Right? That's some next level little brother stuff, right? And so when it happened, I absolutely deserved to get my butt handed to me. But if I had a jar with rocks back then, would Chris and I have been different? I don't know. Well, I know it worked for the girls, but they were younger, right? So
I think why I said no so quickly to your question was
Like super quick.
was more about, like, I know parents are like, hey, maybe we should have a punching bag so that they can go punch a punching bag if
Sure.
they're frustrated or things like that. But when kids are feeling big emotions and we go and redirect them to something else that's going to also create big emotions like anger and aggression, we're actually reinforcing that part. And so it's not actually helpful. And so that's kind of where I was going with that. But I think to learn the discipline and everything else, just one other thing too, is maybe having shared, activities. I often do Venn diagrams, so the overlapping circles, right?
Yeah.
You could do it as a family, or you could just do it with the siblings and write in the circles, all the things that you enjoy doing. Where is the overlap, and focus on those things, those shared sort of interests. So, yeah.
I do remember, sorry to jump back in, but I do remember in relation to the punching bag idea, and you've mentioned it in a previous episode, where you taught both the girls that if they were that angry and they couldn't talk to us and they're angry at us or they're angry at their sister, to get a bottle of water. Maya did it a lot more, but get a bottle of water and just drink, right? Go for a walk. And in retrospect, it's one of the cutest memories ever, was this angry little munchkin drinking an Evian, walking up and down the hall.
Shaking the bottle. She wasn't even drinking it. She was just shaking the bottle.
Yeah, that's right. She's still shaking. But I see what you mean, right? Because it allowed her a chance to kind of work through it and calm down without, perpetuating, right, the anger.
One of the greatest things that I've done with Maya is, because Willow is very vocal and she shares a lot. So we know everything and we can see everything on her face. We know exactly what's going on for her. Maya is very internal and she doesn't share. And I think she has a hard time, even like something traumatic happened at school once in grade 7. It wasn't until grade 8. She's like, oh my gosh, Mom, I forgot to tell you.
Yeah.
She just forgets about it in the moment. And I think that's true for a lot of kids too. But I created a journal, a book, and it was a communication book for us to be able to write. And so the only rule was we are not allowed to talk about anything that's written in the book. So I can't bring up something that she's written down. It's strictly communication in the book. So if she was mad at me or at anybody, or, just needed to debrief or vent, she would write in the journal. I would write back, and then she would place it on my pillow. And I would write back. I would ask her questions. She usually didn't respond to any of my questions, but so it was a way for her to express herself in a safe way. That she wasn't going to get reprimanded or lectured or fixing or all the things that we do that aren't helpful. She just knew it was safe. She could put it out there, let me know. And that was really helpful, I think, because there was a period where she was feeling bullied quite a bit from Willow. And vice versa. If you brought it up to either one of them, they were so sensitive that they were the victim, right? And so it wasn't really helpful. But I think that was helpful for Maya, just to express, like, I feel like I'm the one who's always being blamed, and I'm the one, like, Willow's being so mean to me. And I think that was just a nice little outlet for her, a safe way for her to be able to take that out and process it.
Yeah, I'd agree, because now she's much more comfortable processing actively with us, right? Like, I don't like that or this, like she did it tonight. You guys are so annoying when you do that, right? And we were able to talk it through. And again, we clarified that I'm not the annoying parent unless I decide to be. No, you're not going to take the bait?
No.
Dang. No, but it's true, right? Because we had to teach her how to communicate with us in a way that she knows is safe. And this is totally not to do with siblings, right? This is more just the effect of what you're talking about. But it kind of comes back again to, my role in it. My role in it, and I think your role in it, is just to kind of, let them vent, let them kind of feel like it's okay to not like them in the moment, but then remind them that, right? Like it's one thing to not like the instance. It's another thing to say that you hate the person, because that's not true. Like whenever we're not here, I know for a fact that the two of them hang out together and chill and right. And it's this, you're right. It's the second we walk in the door that it's the end of the world when someone was mean and I can't believe they did this and whatever. So
pairing them with something fun.
Mm-hmm. Is there a risk? So I thought of this when you mentioned before, the pulling away when they're in the middle of it and getting along. Is there any potential negative return? Like Well, there's no point in me hanging out with him because every time we're getting along, we get pulled apart anyways.
Oh, no. But it's being
Okay.
strategic. And it could just be for a quick, hey, can you come help me do
And then go
this?
back
And then
in.
go back,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So it could be that. It's just not waiting for them to fight
And then pulling them apart.
and then pulling them
Yeah,
apart.
okay. All right,
And
that
it's
makes
not
sense.
all the time either. Like it's, yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's
So pairing, fun stuff.
Venn diagram,
Venn diagram's
the shared thing. If you want to try sibling love jar, and then letting them, that's really good. Being able to wrestle each other is really good for self-regulation, being able to manage the conflict, and you can proactively teach those skills as well. There's a lot, again, proactive things, getting on offense. I always am talking about getting on offense as parents, right? Where we can, but reactively, it's being able to let them try to sort things out. And maybe even having that conversation. You guys got to let me know. You are in control of whatever goes between you two, but you come and let me know what you need from me if you need to. And that's okay to come and ask for help, not to say, Mom.
Yeah, we were very clear about that when they were younger.
Yeah.
Don't whine.
Yeah.
But if you've tried to fix it and it's not working, come get us.
Yeah. And then let me know what you've tried.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you've tried to figure it out? And that worked great too, right? Because they would say, okay, I asked her to stop. I moved away, so try 2 or 3 things. Come and let me know what you've tried and how you need, like what outcome you need help with.
Right. Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
Anyway. Alrighty.
Is that it, Lethal Weapon?
Nice talking to you. Apparently you're the ninja.
Yeah. We should change the name of the podcast to Ninja and the Lethal Weapon or the Hands of Death. No?
You would be a great Ninja Turtle.
Again, not the compliment I think you're going for. Which Ninja Turtle would I be? You don't know. You don't know the name.
I do know the name.
Who are the other 3?
Leonardo, Raphael.
Here it comes.
Oh,
Here it comes.
Gosh.
Everybody forgets.
Oh my gosh. The purple guy.
Oh my gosh. Everybody forgets Donatello.
Donatello. Oh my God. Donatello. No, you would be Michelangelo.
The Ninja Turtle. Not the Renaissance man. The Ninja Turtle.
The Ninja Turtle.
Not even going to give me Master Splinter.
No. What? No.
Casey Jones.
No.
I'd throw you April O'Neil. You're my April O'Neil.
Well, yeah.
See, you gotta learn to take a compliment better. I'm Casey Jones.
No. Teo would be a good Casey Jones.
Yeah, he'd be all right.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be all right. Which one of our what if our kids were cartoons, what would they be? Because I've nicknamed you Curious George.
Yeah.
And that's what you are on my phone to this day.
Yeah. That's a good one for me. I see what's a little girl with 2 blonde pigtails?
You need to narrow it down a little bit.
No, I think it's a book. Actually. I don't think it's just this little girl. She's just.
Was that the 2 sisters?
No. Oh, it's on the tip of my. They do look. So they're Golly and Bing and
Golly.
Something like that. Yeah, the little one. Or if there's a female version of Dennis the Menace. Actually, that would be me.
Yeah.
Never mind. I was going to say.
So we labeled you twice.
Curious George and Dennis the Menace. Charlie Brown. One of the Charlie Brown characters would be Maya.
Which one, though?
I can't think of his name.
Linus?
Sure. Pigpen would be Willow.
Don't.
Okay, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I don't know.
All right.
I can't.
On that note, before our kids cancel us, thank you very much. Subscribe. Tell your friends.
Join a Facebook group.
Join our Facebook group.
We should start a Facebook group.
Well, you just announced that they should join it. So yeah, you should probably get on that.
Okay, I'll get on it. Join our Facebook group. And then you can ask us all of your questions that you've got. And
tell us what kind of Ninja Turtle you are.
Yes. And what cartoon character your kids would be.
We need to end this now. This has been fun.
Bye.
Bye.